everyone, how are you doing? Oh, it's been nearly a month since my last Flosstube again, so I thought it was about time I made an appearance. I've got loads to show you. I feel like the actual Charly has gone somewhere else and she's not returned yet, because I've been on an absolute spree of FFOing things, and it all started I think last Friday and continued pretty much the whole weekend, and it started with the finishing of a really lovely WIP, which was a sale with some lovely ladies, and I finished it I think on the Thursday night, and the Friday morning I was like, right, that's it, I'm going to the range this morning, I'm going to find a frame for it, which I did and got that one framed up. And then I've had this huge pile up there on my shelf of finished objects that I've been just calling to be finished, and the stack just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm like, I need to do something about this, like it's just getting out of hand. I don't like them all hanging around, like I want them up on the wall or as pillows or other things. I just want to see them and admire them. So yeah, I pretty much was FFOing for 3 or 4 days. Whenever I could, I would get some done. Which is another reason why I'm filming at home today. Well, one, because the weather is absolutely horrendous. It's raining cats and dogs outside, and it's quite windy again. And two, because I want to show you all these finished objects. So yeah, just a quick thank you, just to say thank you to everyone who's shouted me out and mentioned me recently, either for my floss drops or for my Flosstube. That's been really lovely, and sorry I haven't written them all down again, but I'll try and do that in the future. But you all know who you are, and some of you will be coming up in this video anyway because of stitchy kindness, or yeah, lovely things like we've been in a stitch along together. So yeah, right, let's get cracking then. So we'll start with the one that started all this FOing madness, and this, oh, try not to get the glare. So this is Blooming Lovely, and this is designed by Lesley Teare. This is on the cross stitch app, because I know one or two of the ladies in our stitchy group have managed to download it off the cross stitch app. So yeah, I used all the called for I used all the called for DMC for this one, and it's a really simple frame from the range. There we go. I think this frame cost £3.99, and the mount, I really like this mount because it had the black edging on it. I think the mount was £1.50. This was framed really, really inexpensively. I used a 28 count sparklies fabric. I think it's called Stormy Seas, which I bought for the Bonkers mystery sale by Barbara Anna, but I just couldn't get it to work, and it just sat in my stash, but this was perfect for it. And yeah, I just really love how this turned out. I mounted it onto a pin board and used the sequin pin method, but I couldn't get the back of the frame back on, so I just covered it in some parcel paper, and my husband added this hook for me to get it up on the wall. So yeah, I'm so glad it's going to be protected from the dust. And I haven't actually hung this yet because I want to put it downstairs, but I haven't quite worked out where I want it to be yet. Yeah, I love that piece so much. I think it might be one of my most favourite pieces I've ever stitched, apart from my Barbara Anna's, of course. I want to keep checking in the mirror because I've got a cappuccino and I don't want to get chocolate all over my chops. Right, the next one, this is Garden Cat by Satsuma Street. You will have seen me stitching on this last year when I went on my WIP finishing frenzy the end of last year and I got down to 4 WIPS. I think I started in October with Yasmin's Made with Love, and I just carried on until the new year, I think it was, and I got down from like 16 WIPS to about 4. That's why my pile was so huge. So yeah, this is Garden Cat by Satsuma Street, and to begin with I mounted this and framed it landscape, so it was this way, but it had a lot of excess fabric. And the reason that I did it landscape is because I am going to eventually stitch the sister piece to this, which is Cactus Cat. I haven't bought it yet, but I will do, and I want to hang these together in my daughter's bedroom. Yeah, so I did frame it landscape. The next day I woke up and was like, this just doesn't look right. I think I'm going to put it portrait with a mount that I had both the frame and the mount just hanging around at home from things that I used to have framed. So it was just in my stack of, you know, frames to use from the charity shop or ones that I weren't using anymore. And yeah, I'm much happier with how this looks. You can't see it on the camera, but the mount and the frame is a little bit battered here or there, but I'm okay with that. And yeah, this is just what I did get the back on this, and my husband's just put a wire on it for me, so I'm yet to hang this one in my daughter's room as well, because I need to think about where I'm going to hang it so that I can put the sister piece alongside it, you know, so maybe there's a gap between them, because obviously this one's portrait, the other one will definitely be landscape. But yeah, I stitched this on, I think it was a 32 count raw linen, I think. Yeah, raw linen, I'm pretty sure it was, from Zweigart, and I used all the called for DMC. And the only thing I changed about this is there was only originally in the pattern this 1B, but I decided it needed 4. So, sorry, it needed 5, so I added 4 extra ones. But apart from that, it's as the pattern. Okay, the next ones have all found homes and they've all been hung. So no, I can't find one of them. Oh, it's over there, I'll get it in a sec. Okay, so first up, this is Barbara Anna, and this is the Bonkers Mystery Stitch Along. Oh, I love this so much. I just can't tell you how much I love this piece. I think this may possibly be one of my favourite Barbara Annas I've ever stitched. I just love it so much. The colours, the shading, it's just absolutely stunning. And I stitched this on my favourite fabric, which is Fabric Flare from Sew It All, and it was in 28 count in the Wolf colourway, and it's this really gorgeous grey, but it almost looks like lilac-y purple in some lights. It's a really interesting fabric, and it seems to go with so many things. Like I've stitched a lot of smalls with this excess fabric, and I do want to buy some more. I'm down to such a tiny piece left in my stash, and I have got another FO picture to show you of something I stitched for my friend in a minute, and I also stitched that on this same fabric, so you'll be able to see how lovely it is. Oh, isn't it stunning? Barbara Ann is just a genius of colour, of shading, and of design. Oh, she's incredible. So yeah, she is hung on my Barbara Anna wall. And once I've hung all these back up, I might actually put in a video at the end of my Barbara Anna wall and how it's progressing. Okay, next up we have Winged Dreams, also by Barbara Anna. This is from a charity shop frame. It was just originally a wooden frame that was a bit battered, so I just painted it with some chalk paint from a local eco shop to me. And this was stitched on 32 count Zweigart, I think it's called Colonial Blue originally, but I really hope that they've changed that colour name. I'm pretty sure that they have, but I don't know what its actual name is. Sorry, I only know it's Colonial Blue, and that isn't me naming it as that. So apologies if that offend anyone. That isn't my intention at all. I need to find out what it's actually called. So yeah, I used all the called for DMC, including the variegated colours on the wings. The only thing that I did differently about this one is these wings on the hat. I stitched those with Crying by mistake, but I actually really like them, so I just left it in. So yeah. The next one, oh, I love this one too. This is Forest Queen by Barbara Anna. I think this is another favourite. I think this and the Bonkers Mystery Sow are my favourites. And I stitched this on a 32 count Zweigart, and it's called Vintage Oak, I think, or Vintage Wood, one of the two. Oh, it's gorgeous. The mottling on this fabric is absolutely stunning. I used all the called for DMC. The only thing I changed was these star shapes that you can see up here. The original colour just wasn't showing on this fabric, so I frogged them and changed them to a clearer white. And I love it. I just absolutely love it. This was an absolute nightmare to frame. I'll mention the frame now. This was another Oxfam charity shop 99p frame. I cut the mount myself from a piece of mount board with the help of my husband, because the dimensions of this were just not quite fitting in a standard mount, so that's why I cut my own. And also I did manage to get the back on this one, which was fantastic. This has been stamped with a date for some reason, 2002. From whatever was in there. There was nothing in it when I bought it from the charity shop. And sorry, glare. What was I going to say about this one? Oh, about how I framed it. This was an absolute nightmare, because in my own stupidity and my own tiredness, I think the kids were like being really extrovert downstairs. There was a lot of noise in the house. I was tired. It wasn't the right time for me to be cutting off the excess fabric at all. But what it was I was 3/4 of the way through stitching it, and I had such a bulk of fabric on my nerd hoop, it was driving me nuts. So I thought, I'm going to cut off the excess, and I just miscalculated it and cut it far too short. There was no way I was going to be able to wrap it around a mount, to pin it or anything. It was really tricky. In actual fact, you wouldn't know because this is frame, but one side of this is right up against this mount. It was cut that close. And I was going to use Yaz's method. She's got a tutorial, I think, with Maloka Designs, where she sews on extra pieces of fabric so she can mount it in a frame. And I was going to do that, but then my friend Mia, hi Mia, creepy stitcher, she came to the rescue. She said, Charlie, it doesn't matter, no one's going to take the back off for years and years and years, and I'd be surprised if they do, like it would only be your family. Which of course I stitched this with the intention of this would be a heirloom piece for my family, that hopefully my girls will treasure this and it will pass through the generations of the family. And yeah, she came to the rescue, Mia, and she said, don't overthink this, Charlie. She was quite stern with me, but in a good way. And she suggested, and this was an excellent idea, but please don't tell the stitching, please. If you are really, you know, particular about how things are done, don't listen to this bit. Maybe like wind forward, you know, a few minutes. But this is genius. So I got a piece of thin mount board, which is how I frame all my pieces. I don't use foam board. I find it too chunky. So I got some mount board. I put the batting on the top like I normally would, and then laid the piece on the top. Then I put a denim needle on my sewing machine, which from memory I think is size 90. It's either a 70 or a 90, I think. If you really need to know, then message me and I'll check it on the packet. And then basically I sewed around the edges. So I put the mount board, I positioned the batting on the top, I centered my piece, I pinned it, and then I just went round all the edges, making sure I backstitched at both ends with a denim sewing needle right on the edge. And that then meant that it was secured, and then I could just put them out where I needed to be, and no one would ever know. Yeah, so that was a real genius method, and I would definitely use it again if I wanted to be a bit, you know, stringent with a piece of fabric. Like if it was a really precious piece of fabric that, you know, I wanted to use the bare minimum so I could use it in various projects, or, you know, I'd made a mistake cutting again, then I know that there's a way out. So I thought I'd share that with you in case that is helpful at all, and hopefully you haven't been cringing at that. Okay, the last frame piece I just need to grab, which is good because my Stitchy Kindness was over there as well. Oh, I love this. You all know who this is. This is Yasmins Made with Love, her gorgeous spring bouquet pattern. And this is from a frame from the charity shop. I think this one cost £1.50. The charity shop gods were shining down on me that day, because this was another one. I finished it and then I found this frame the next day, and it was just absolutely perfect, like pastel shades again. And I stitched this on fabric by Crafty Kate, Hi Kate, and I think it was the February fabric of the month, which she's now selling in her shop. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's got such subtle shading. Oh, it's gorgeous. And I stitched this with all the call for DMC. The only thing I changed was Yasmin originally had put these little back stitch bits on the wing in DMC 666, but I just wanted to in-keep it with the rest of the pastel colours, so I just used the pink in the pattern. But yeah, I adore this. Again, I managed to get the back on. And this is originally a next frame, so yeah, that's great. That has a home as well in my hallway, and I look at it all the time. Oh, we got through that. I'm just going to have a break, have a bit of coffee, and I'll come back. Okay, we're back. So that isn't all the FOs, there's still more to come. So I've got 3 more here, and then I've got another one to show as a photo. So the next one I've got is the April freebie, which is the calendar that I've been showing a lot. This is a freebie collection from the Stitching Cabin, lovely Hayley, and this is April. I did change the colours on this one. Originally she'd designed it with all like 2 colours. I think they were lilac and a really lovely purple. But as soon as I saw this, I was like, that has to be a rainbow umbrella. It just has to be. So yeah, and then it had to be pink Wellingtons because I have pink wellies. And then the greens, I took those from the March freebie, which was the taupery. So the pinks and the greens were both from that March freebie. And a lot of the colours that I used in the umbrella were from Madame Butterfly, which I'll show you in a minute, by Barbara Anna, because there's lots of lovely rainbow bright colours in that one. And then the blue that I used for the clouds and the raindrops, that was a random piece of blue thread which I found downstairs, and I couldn't identify where it was from for ages. It was just sat on my desk, but it was the perfect amount, like absolute perfect amount, and I thought it looked really nice with the other colours, so it was good to use that up. But I have since found out where it was from, and I'll show you that in a sec. So yeah, if you want to know exactly what I've used, then just send me a message. And I did have a question on Instagram last night about how I finish these, because I do put a magnet on the back, and I have shown pictures of my tin before where I put them. I think I put it in the last Flosstube. So sorry if you can hear my daughter. My husband's off work today. It was his birthday yesterday, and it's bank holiday on Monday, so he's taking like a good 5 days off work, which means I could film the Flosstube a bit earlier. Well, pardon me, because I was planning to do it this Saturday, tomorrow, but I thought a day early is great. So yeah, if you want to know how I finish these, then if you look on my latest post showing these, then you'll see that I've answered a comment to someone about how I do it. And this is where the random blue thread came from. Look at this gorgeousness. I hope you've all seen this on Instagram. This is lovely Lindsay, who is at Wolfy Stitches on Instagram, and this is her first ever design, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. She's got this on her Ko-fi page, and you can just pay her £1 donation, or I think you can pay her more if you want to. So yeah, I gave her a donation and I got this lovely pattern, and I think I was the first person apart from Lindsay to stitch it, because I got it that day, and that night I was like, I have to start it. So bless her, Lindsay, she messaged me. Sorry Lindsay, I hope you won't mind me saying this, but she realised that she'd not uploaded the final colours on the pattern, but I'd already started it, and I didn't have some of them in my stash, so I'd already pulled from stash colours that were similar. So my colours are a bit different to what Lindsay charted, but she's done such a fantastic job. She has now updated the pattern on Ko-fi, so if you buy it, you know, she has got the correct chart up there now. And you know, we all make these mistakes, and I said to her, don't worry about it, like, it's fine. I make mistakes all the time, we're just human, aren't we? Oh, I just love it so much. That back stitching at the bottom there, the how with the heart, I just love doing that. I love doing the French knot on the eye. Oh, I just love everything about it. And I stitched this on some 14 count Rustico Ada that Lindsay actually gifted me recently. I showed in my last Flosstube. So yeah, go and support her. This is her first ever design, and she's such a new, exciting designer, and I can't wait to see what comes from her next. I have had a sneak peek of the next one, and it's just equally as exciting. So I can't wait to stitch that one too. And I just hot glue gun this onto some mount ball with some batting underneath, and I just prop it up there where I see it all the time on my desk. Yeah, go and support Lindsay. Beautiful soul and a wonderful new designer. The next one is, oh, got some hot glue hanging off this one. This last one is obviously Mr. Happy from Mr. Men, and it says Live Happy in backstitch. This was a kit that I kindly received. It was gifted to me by A2V Brands. They contacted me on Instagram and asked if I'd be interested, and I did show those kits again in my last Flosstube. I did stick a magnet on the back of this. Again, it's just on mount ball with some batting underneath, and I put it on my daughter's radiator in my bedroom. But then the radiator heated up, didn't it, and the magnet fell off. So yeah, only put this on your radiators with a magnet on if the heating's not on, because the hot glue obviously melts and then it comes off. So I need to sort that out, or put it up in a room somewhere, or maybe put it in a little frame. I'm going to do something with it. So yeah, and what can I say about this one? The Ada was quite stiff, but that was fine. The hoop was really fine. The only thing I would say about this is it has a lot of fractional stitches. I would not say this was a beginner's kit at all. I decided not to do all the fractional stitches, and I just did whole stitches where I could get away with it. Obviously on the little bird I did the fractional stitches because that would show up a lot, and on the feet as well, and some of the hands here I did some fractional stitches. But I will say that I found this Ada extremely difficult to backstitch on. And they have sent me another kit. Let me show you. They have sent me this one, which I do really want to stitch. and it comes with a cushion. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stitch this on a 28 count even weave, and then it will be a doddle to do the fractional stitches, and it will also be a doddle to do the back stitching. I just think I'm not a fractional stitcher particularly. I'd rather avoid them where I can. That's just a personal preference. And if I do have to do them and a lot of back stitching, then I would definitely be choosing even weave. But that isn't a criticism of them at all. They really kindly gifted me these things. It's just a little bit of feedback. And I am going to stitch Mr. Bump, but I'm not going to do Bump by name. I am just going to put Mr. Bump somehow, maybe up here, or I don't know. But I'm not going to do this on the Ada. I'm going to do it on even weave again. But they're lovely kits, really lovely patterns, really bright and cheerful. The flosses were really nice to work with. Oh, there's a child incoming. Hi everyone. Oh, it's nice to be outside. So yeah, we recorded all the FOs outside. Oh, sorry, inside. I just really needed to get out in nature. Oh. I don't share a great deal of personal stuff on here, but yeah, things can be quite tense at home. Obviously I've got 2 young children, and things can get quite tense and quite full on quite quickly. And as a lot of you know, nature is my solace. I don't know what I'd do without nature. Like, it just means everything to me. And yeah, it's good to get outside. It's good to feel reconnected to the earth again. How you can hear that, it's really quiet here. You can hear the rain. It's not raining anymore, but it has been this morning. You can hear the rain dripping through the trees. You can hear the birds tweeting away. Oh, it's so peaceful. It just makes me feel so grounded. I've been finding it quite hard to feel grounded this last week or so. Yeah, this does the job. Oh, let's see if I can get you off the ground a bit. I didn't bring my tripod today. Let's see if I can rest you on top of my boots here, just to get you off the ground a little bit. We've been filming in this location before. This is where the chickens are, if you remember. So you might hear some chickens. Oh, I love this spot. Right, I grabbed my WIPS and I grabbed my Stitchy Kindness and my bit of haul. So yeah, now we're here, we're settled. I bought my picnic blanket because I said the ground's a bit dry and damp. Hear the chickens. Right, I hope I bought my list as well so I don't lose track. Oh yes, there was an FFO that I forgot to mention. So I was really lucky recently, and I got to meet Amy, Pearls and Ponderings. She's not done a Flosstube video for ages. If you don't watch her, then maybe go over and check out her channel. I'll put it in the down bar. But Amy's so lovely. So she lives in Wales, as many of my friends do. It feels like I'm almost meant to live in Wales, but I know Wales is a big place and they're all spread out, but yeah. So Amy lives in Wales. She was down for a family weekend probably about a month ago, and the night before I decided I wanted to stitch her a little pillow, so I'll put a picture in here. I stayed up till about 1-2 o'clock in the morning getting it finished, and the next morning I sewed it up into a pillow, sewed the buttons on, and I gifted it to her, and I think she really liked it. I'm sure she did, but it's the gift of giving is just lovely, isn't it? So that is again stitched on that fabric flare wolf colourway, so you can see how lovely it is. And it's the Friendship Grows pattern by Lizzie Kate. It's a freebie on her website. Again, I'll put the link down below. And yeah, I just adjusted the pattern. I did some counting and some maths, and I just changed it to say friends. I just preferred that to friendship grows. I used all the called for DMCs in the pattern. I thought it was beautiful. And yeah, I stuffed it with kapok fibre as I always do. And yeah, I loved stitching that. I'm just looking at the little ferns behind the camera. They're all twirled up really tightly. I love ferns. There's some right here next to me as well. Oh, aren't they gorgeous when they're all curled up before they unfurl? God, nature's incredible, isn't it? Me and my husband were watching a series last night on Netflix called, what's it called? Taboo. And yeah, it's set in the 1800s, and they were talking about arsenic poisoning in it. And so I started Googling about arsenic. God, it's interesting. It's been around for a really long time. I think the first discovery was in the 1200s. Maybe even earlier than that, I can't remember exactly. But I just think, you know, we've lost so much knowledge from our ancestors, and it's really quite sad. You know, how did they know how to test for arsenic and arsenic poisoning, you know, in the 1800s, and how did they even discover these things in the first place? Like hemlock, was it just by accident that it was found? Like, how did they know what plants were edible, which ones weren't? Fascinating. I love stuff like that. I love learning about history and about the natural world. Right, let's get on with WIPS. So, in no particular order, this is Miss Coffee. I showed this a lot recently. I have been working on it on and off for quite a while now. This is what she's going to look like when she's finished. Yasmins has finished hers. I started this as a stitch along with Yasmin. I'm just thinking, I don't think I bought anything to put behind my stitching. Maybe this will do. So yeah, this is Miss Coffee. Sorry, I've got quite a lot of working threads on this one. Still got a needle down here as well, so I need to be careful. But I've just been stitching on this on Stitchy Zooms with friends, just doing this this filling in, this quite mindless filling in. So I think that's all I've done on that since I last showed it to you. Just a mindless filling. Love it though. Can't wait for this one to be finished. I think I'm just putting off this big skirt, but it'll get done. It's quite a big dark skirt, isn't it? It's a lot of black and brown. I haven't seen a dog walker at all today, so hopefully we can film this without the worry that someone's going to pop round the corner. And I normally film over that other side of this woods, but yeah, I thought we'd come to a bit of a different spot today. But it is a bit nearer a road, so if you hear cars, that's why. There's some lovely little houses just over there. I think, oh, I'd love to live here. Okay. Right, the next one is in my bag that I made myself with the Acorn Fairy from Stitchy Princess Black. And in here I've got a new start and a new stitch along. So I'm stitching this alongside Lauren, lovely Lauren from Cross Stitch Bunny. I love Lauren's channel, she's such a lovely person. We do chat quite a bit on WhatsApp every now and again, and she's so sweet. So I shared that I wanted to stitch these, and then she messaged me and said that she also had them in her stash and we'd do a stitch along together. So I'm using the hashtag, I think it's Welcome to the Forest SAL, so if anyone wants to join in then please do. If that's incorrect then it will be in the down bar anyway, and just double check there. But this is the collection from Country Cottage Needleworks, and as I said, it's called Welcome to the Forest. So in no particular order, there's Raccoon and Friends, I can't wait to stitch this. This is what I'm going to do next. Blue Forest Cottage, Forest Bear, the Forest Banner, which goes right at the top, Forest Fox and Friends, and the Pink Forest Cottage. I'm just wondering where the one is that I'm stitching right now. Oh, here it is. This is the one I'm stitching at the moment, Forest Deer. I'll just put all them back in so I don't lose any of them. And I'm stitching this on a 32 count Spygart raw linen, which I got from Florishell. They sell on eBay, but they also have their own website. And what I love about Florishell is it doesn't matter how much you spend, they do free delivery on everything, and their prices are really affordable. And I'm using the called for Fancy Floss, which is these colours. I plaited it for a photo on my Instagram, and I've just not unplaited it, so I just shoved it back in the bag. And I've got 2 floss rings with the other DMC that are used. It's quite a small colour palette really. And in hindsight, I don't know if I would have bothered with the fancy flosses, because where they're used so far, you can't really tell that I think the DMC would have been fine. And I'm stitching this on my Q-snap. And this is a new grind guard that I bought from, she's called the Threaded Crafter on Instagram and her Etsy page. And she put up a video, like a reel on her Instagram recently, that she was aiming for a goal of 5 sales this month, and she hadn't made any. So yeah, I chose to support her this month. I bought this and a really nice needle minder, which I actually forgot to bring out with me. I'll share it in another video, and I use it on a project. But obviously I'm stitching this all in one piece with the added border, so it's quite a large piece of fabric. And I thought that this grind guard would be a good way to, you know, contain the excess fabric. Oh, I'm hoping that will give me a... There you go. I hope it will give me a thumbnail. That would be really nice. Or maybe I should take a picture, because it's really nice that I'm in the forest. And yeah, I'll take a picture at the end. It's nice that I'm in the woods, and this is a forest woods piece. So yeah, I'm getting on quite well with this one. I think it's so pretty. Let me hold something behind it so the light's shining through a bit. There we go. And I love stitching on this. Lauren's worked on a lot of the border. I've only done that tiny bit down there. I was just desperate to start one of the squares. So yeah, it was quite a lot of counting to get to the border and work out where I needed to start, but that's fine. So I think this is so there's the banner at the top, and I think this is the second block down on the left, and then I'm going to go down after this one and start the Blue Forest Cottage. But yeah, it's lovely to do another stitch along. I'm doing so many stitch alongs at the moment. But yeah, it's lovely to stitch along with Lauren, and I'm so glad that I'm starting this finally, because I bought these patterns for my birthday. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. And that grind guard is called Agnes. She's got some lovely grind guards, some lovely needle minders, lovely scissor fobs. So I'd really encourage you to go over and have a look and support a small UK business. And it's really beautiful soft fabric, and the needle minder was lovely. I was really pleased with it. Okay, the next one. Oh, I love this one too. I haven't got a cover picture for this one, so I'll put one up here. This is the Night Garden by Vienna Piazza, but I call it Night Forest. Again, I plaited it for my Instagram, and I haven't unravelled it yet. Oh, there's a bit of where I've serged the fabric with my sewing machine. It's just because it was fraying like a beast, so I ended up running it through the machine on a zigzag just to contain the edges and stop it fraying. And these are some floss drops that I made a while ago, just with some decorative paper. They've got really nice metallics on these ones. And yeah, this is on some fabric that I dyed myself with Dylon dye, and I've got some really nice mottling on it, as you can see, and it's a really lovely purple colour. Originally this is stitched on black Ada, but I didn't fancy that at all. I wanted more like a dusk scene, so I thought I'd go with purple. And yeah, I love how this is looking at the moment. I think I might have to play around with some of the colours that are called for as I go along, but at the moment they're working out fine. Isn't that moon stunning? With the variegation of the patterns of the craters. So beautiful. And I loved stitching that badger. So yeah, I might just have to play around with some of the purples, but we'll see how we go. But, oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Oh, and that lovely needle minder, that was another lovely gift from Lizzie, Wolfy Stitches. Okay, the next one is an FFO as well. It's a little bag that I made. It's got a quilted back. And this main fabric is an old pillowcase that I found in the charity shop. I think it was like 20p or something, but I just thought it was really pretty. Don't look too closely at my quilted lines because it all went a bit wonky. I don't care, it's only for me. And this pattern is called Birds Don't Worry, They Sing, which you can see down here. It's a pattern from Stitches. It's either with Julia or Stitches by Julia. I can't remember. She's got a fabulous YouTube channel where she shares tutorials of how to make things, and you could buy her patterns. And this is one of her patterns. It wasn't very expensive. I think it was like £3 or something for the pattern. It tells you how to cut out these applique pieces, how to sew the bag together, and just general tips about free motion embroidery. So if you're looking for a beginner's entryway into applique and free motion embroidery, I highly recommend her channel, because alongside this pattern is obviously the video where she goes through it step by step as well, so it's a really good resource. And I started this around Flossmas time. You might remember me talking about this. And then I found it sat languishing in a pile of fabric that I was clearing away, and I thought I'm just going to crack on with that, so I got it finished the next day. So yeah, I used all stash fabrics. Apart from this rust colour, I did go to the sewing shop and pick that out specially, because I just didn't have a suitable rust colour in my fabric stash. But it's good to use this, you know, applique is so great to use up all those tiny little remnants of fabric that would otherwise be thrown away. And yeah, inside I've got a really nice, I was given this fabric. There's a local mending shop where lovely ladies will mend people's, you know, clothes with darning. And I went to one of their, they have like a monthly meet where you can take along things to get them mended, and you pay them like a donation of £5, £10. So they fixed a top that I had that was really nice, but it had a hole in it. And I said, oh, I really like that fabric. They were like, just take it. And I just thought it was really apt. You know, it was blue and it had them little birdies on it. So yeah, I enjoyed making this. It was really good to get it finished. I've got a really lovely little teacup here, little ceramic teacup from when I used to knit. I think that came from Little Robin Cottage. We did a swap once. I can't remember what I gave her. It might have been an embroidered piece or something. I can't remember. And in return she sent me some lovely needle, some progress keepers for my knitting. I can't remember what else she sent me, but some lovely things. So yeah, I'm just glad it's finished really. It didn't take me long to quilt the back and put it together as a bag. And this is Madame Butterfly from Barbara Anna. Sorry, I've got loads of floss in here that I haven't put away properly. And some that are just hanging out in the bottom of the bag. But this is obviously by Barbara Anna, and I did show this on my last Flosstube, and I wasn't sure about the colour of fabric I was using, but I actually have stitched more and I do really love it now, and I'm really glad that I've persevered with it. Oh, so here she is, Madame Butterfly, and I've got some work in floss. But yeah, it's a 25 count. I think it's either sage green or moss green. I think it's sage green that I had in my stash that matches Butterfly Dreams, and I wanted her as large as possible. I've just noticed I've snipped a thread there. I'm going to have to sort that out. Isn't she stunning? Her face is just so pretty. I'm looking forward to getting back to this one and getting her framed on my Barbara Ann wall. Oh, and this is my last whip, and this is in a lovely project bag that I finished just the other day, and this is also an FFO because I was stitching on this recently. This is the Cotton and Twine. It was either February or March. I've got a feeling it was February subscription box, and it was this lovely home piece, and you got this Liberty fabric here with it, and it was suggested that you'd mount it onto a canvas to hang up, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't really want a mounted canvas in my house right now. It's just not what I wanted, and I had this other Liberty fabric in my stash. I thought I just want to make that into a lovely bag. And I've got this little jewel on here. I used to make progress keepers and what are they called? Markers, knitting markers for putting in your knitting. So I used to collect like vintage necklaces and take them apart and use the beads. These are glass beads. Make them into knitting markers. But I thought I'll just hang that on my project bag because I don't really knit anymore. And I'd run out of nice interfacing, so it's quite floppy, this bag, and flexible, but I quite like it. It's got like no bulk to it. And inside I've got a really nice pink that I had in my stash. I just thought that went really nice with the pink flowers. And this is such a gorgeous stitch. This is on some floss drops that I made with decorative paper again. These are lovely, like woodland themed. It was a paper pack from Hobbycraft, and these colours are just spectacular. And this is so lovely. So this is the stitch along by a historical sampler company, who is is it like the sister company or the same company as Cotton and Twine? And this is their Emma Congdon Stitch Rovia Home is Where the Heart Is stitch along. And there's 2 parts released, but I'm only on part 1. And I love this so much. Look how stunning this is. So this is on an antique white Joblan fabric, 32 count from Arts and Designs. I ordered it thinking it was antique white from Zweigart, and then it arrived and it was Joblan, I think that's how you say it. Jobelan, that's it. And this is mainly what I've been working on this week, because I wanted to try and catch up before part 3 comes out on the 3rd of May. But that's just not going to happen. Like, I just didn't realise how intensive this stitch is. Like, I would not say this is a beginner's pattern at all. I would say this is quite medium to advanced pattern. It's got quite a lot of counting in it. It's all 4 crosses, but this back stitch is really quite intricate. And yeah, it's really lovely, but it's very time intensive, and you really have to count and pay attention to this one. It's quite easy to make a mistake and frog, but it is absolutely worth it. What a beautiful, beautiful project, and I just love how those colours are really popping on this plain antique white fabric. So I've got this butterfly up here to finish, but I'd started back stitching these leaves yesterday. So yeah, home is where the heart is, and you can tell because the picture's a bit blurry, but it goes round in a circular shape, and you've got home is where the heart is in Emma Congdon's typical beautiful typography, and then it's got a really lovely pink house down here on the right hand side. So you can't see the exact details, but you can see it's a house, you know, in the blurred image. And this border is so lovely. It's got different types of flowers and leaves, and this is butterflies coming in here, and there's some birds further along. So yeah, I'm really enjoying stitching on this one, but there's no way I'm going to get caught up with the end of part 2 by the 3rd of May. I think I can get part 1 finished, but you know, I'll just keep working away slowly on it. In a way, I wish they'd release this like a bit more spread out. There is some people that are keeping up with it. Particularly the people that were gifted this, I've noticed on Instagram, and there's a Facebook page on there. Some people are keeping up, but they're releasing this every 2 weeks, and I think like one part a month would have been really nice. But yeah, maybe if I was a monogamous stitcher, then I would have got this done. And I did start late as well because I was too busy working on other things. Oh, and this little ornament, home is where your heart is. That was the free little ornament that came in the cotton and twine subscription box, and I stuck a needle on the back of it and made it into a needle minder. So yeah, they're all my WIPs. Just check my list. Oh, I'll just put them flosses back in. I haven't put Madame Butterflies back in either. The chickens are going again. Right, I was going to talk to you about what's calling me. I haven't put these patterns away from Welcome to the Forest either. Let's do that. Don't want to leave them behind, do I? Oh, that's actually another progress creeper that Little Robin Cottage gave me, who gave me the ceramic cup. She gave me this lovely little golden acorn, which has always lived on this bag because of the acorn fairy. So this project is really calling to me. I really, really want to work on it. And this is Yasmin Made with Love. Love makes everything easy. And I haven't worked on this for ages, but it's really, really calling me. I really want to get back to this one. Her really lovely wood pigeon. And that's being stitched on 32 count Zweigart flax. So I'm going to pick that up in the next couple of weeks. Maybe when I've got caught up with part 1 of Home is Where the Heart Is, then I'll pick this up. I want to get the wood pigeon finished and maybe do the rest of the text before I put it away again. Yeah. Okay. Stitchy Kindness. I've been really blessed this month. I've been so lucky. Some people have just been so kind and generous to me. So first up, I was gifted this by Amanda Alba Stitcher, and it's all dolled up by Little House Needleworks, and it's called Strawberry House. She showed this on her Flosstube and then on her Instagram, and I commented and said how pretty it was. And she kindly private messaged me and asked if I'd like it, that she'd pass it on to me. And she also really kindly sent me the flosses which go with it. They're all classic colourworks. So we've got Ladybird, Caterpillar and Bean Sprout. They're really gorgeous colours, really lovely variegations. And this is the fabric that I'm thinking of stitching it on. This is a 32 count Zweigart Vintage Cream. It doesn't show up very well on the camera, but it's got some lovely mottling to it. I bought this as a scrap when I ordered some more fancy needles and flosses for things that I'd got kitted up. I saw this in the clearance fabric section and bought it, and I think it'll be really nice for that. So I'm going to start that soon. Thank you, Amanda, that was so kind of you. And Amanda's been so kind to me showing my floss drops on her channel and mentioning me, and I have had quite a few followers on both Instagram and on YouTube, so I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for being so generous. Okay, the next one was from lovely Kim. Stitchy Squirrels, my lovely friend Kim. She sent me a really lovely piece of Leo and Roxy fabric. I don't think I've showed you this. I think I showed you something else she sent me last month, which was, oh, Strawberry Fair. So I don't think I've showed this. This is a 40 count Leo and Roxy fabric in 40 count. I've never stitched on 40 count, so she kindly sent this to me to try. All the holes are small. I think I'll be fine with it though, with a good light. I think I can stitch it without magnifiers, but we'll soon find out, won't we? I mean, I can stitch 36 count without magnifiers, and she says to me, like, reassured me that it's not much more to do 40. She sent me a beading needle. She attached to a bit of cardboard so I wouldn't lose it or stab myself. And she also sent me this, which is really lovely. Snip Snip by October House Fibre Arts. Oh, I love it so much. And 2 packs of really lovely Mill Hill beads. So we've got, oh, they've just got numbers, they haven't got names, but they're so pretty. I've never tried beading, so I'm looking forward to that. This video is going to be quite long, isn't it? Hope you've got yourself a nice drink. And the last thing I've got to show you is from my lovely friend Sarah, she's just changed her name on Instagram actually. I think she's called Cross Stitch Sarah with underscores between each word. She was so lovely and sent me a really lovely notions pouch. She's got these stingrays on the back, and it's a little vinyl. Aren't these isn't the fabric inside lovely with the feathers? Perfect for Charly feathers. And she also made me this really nice coaster, which is far too nice to use to put tea on. I might put it under a plant pot or something. Thank you, Sarah, it's so kind of you. And I've got a couple of bits of haul. So my main haul this month, oh, the screen's gone a bit funny, the light, I've moved forward a bit. So the main piece of haul I got this month was my Nerge table stand. So many of you will know, I've talked about this many times before, but I've been wanting a Lowry table clamp to stitch on my desk for ages, but I couldn't justify the cost. It was quite a lot of money, and also I'd never used one in person or seen it in person. I didn't know if it was going to serve the purpose that I wanted, so I was kind of like, oh, it's a bit expensive, it's a bit of an investment, I don't know if it's 100% right for me. Sorry, the light's going a bit funny, isn't it? And then I had a Zoom call with Marie, lovely Marie from Stitches and Diamonds, and she was so kind and showed me her Nerge table stand that she recently got, and it just seemed absolutely perfect, and the price was spot on. I mean, it's £40 from Amazon. You can buy it from Nerge direct, but they didn't have any in stock. There was a company, a needlework company I think it is, that was selling through Amazon, and it came quite quickly, within like 3 or 4 days, and it was £40 including delivery, so I snapped that up and I've been using it loads and I'm so happy with it. And I found a solution to take with me to stitch in London, and also to try and improve my posture when I'm stitching at home, and I just love it. And now I've cracked the 2-handed stitching, I think it's made me a lot quicker, so you know, it's absolutely fab. So thanks to Marie for sharing that with me and showing me on a video how it works. And yeah, I wouldn't have took that leap without seeing it, so I was so grateful to her. And Marie's just so lovely. Like, we chatted for a good hour and 20 minutes, and I felt a bit guilty for taking up her time, but she was like, it's fine, it's fine. So yeah, lovely Marie, and she's gone to Stitch North, hasn't she? I noticed that on Instagram that she got to Canada safely yesterday, so I hope she has a fab time, and I can't wait to hear all about it. So that was my main haul this month, was my Nerge stand. I also got last month's Tom and Lily flosses, because I joined the thread subscription for a month, just to try them and see what they were like, and they're beautiful. Got these gorgeous greens. So everyone will have received these now, I think, because Melanie has shared them on her Instagram, so it's okay for me to show them, I'm sure. But they're these gorgeous greens. I'm not sure what I'm going to use them for yet, but they're lovely to have in my stash. And yeah, I haven't carried on with the subscription, and there's nothing wrong. You know, they're fantastic, they're soft, they're beautiful. I definitely want to support Melanie again in the future. It purely is the fact that I'm going to Stitch in London and I need to save my pennies, so I want to have plenty of spending money when I go. I've got my train to pay for, and yeah, I can always rejoin again in the new year. But I'm really chuffed with them, and they came beautifully wrapped with a lovely card and a lovely tea bag, which I haven't drank yet. I need to drink that. I might drink that today when I get home. So yeah, I definitely recommend her flosses if you're looking for a subscription. It's I think it's €33, including postage, which is about £30 a month. So they end up about £3 a skein, but you do get a lot. I think you get 8 meters, and it's 100% cotton. So I mean, rightly so, they're charged absolutely correctly. There's a lot of work gone into those, but they're just a bit out of my budget at the moment with everything else that I'm paying for. But I definitely want to rejoin, maybe in the new year. And this arrived yesterday, my gorgeous fabric of the month from Crafty Kate. So I get the even weave 32 count 13 by 18, and including the postage it's £11 a month, which is so affordable. This is really hard to catch on camera. I really applaud Kate for her photography, because I tried to take a picture of it to share my stories yesterday, and I found it near impossible, and it just does not reflect how beautiful this fabric is. I'm really hoping that it's going to show up on here. So I asked Kate about this, and she said that she was inspired by wildflowers. I hope that's showing up. Oh, beautiful. It's so gorgeous. It's all these different dyes and such subtle colours. I think Kate is an incredible dyer. I've received 3 fabrics from her now, and they're so beautifully and subtly dyed. I just love her dyeing techniques that she uses. They're just beautiful. This one's got pinks and greens, teals, yellow. I hope that's showing up. Oh, it's stunning. And as you can see, she finishes the edges of the fabric. And as soon as I saw this, I thought I want to stitch Barbara Anna's Garden Dreams on this one. I think it will work. I haven't got the pattern yet, but I will get it at some point and stitch that on there, unless something else catches my eye in the meantime. So yeah, I don't know if Kate's got spaces in her fabric club at the moment, but I highly recommend that you join the waiting list if it's full. She is a really exciting fabric designer, and the last 2 months that I've received, she has now put up as regular in her shop. So there was a teal blue that I showed last month, and then obviously what I showed earlier in the video that I used for Yasmins spring bouquet that I stitched and framed. That was February's. So if you like those, go and snatch them up in her shop. But yeah, another lovely friend. I'm lucky to call a friend, and fantastic dyer. I think the last thing I've got to mention before I go is my next floss drop sale. Thank you once again to you all for supporting me, whether that's liking my posts, sharing it on Instagram, buying some Flosstubes from me. It's really exciting. And if you're coming to Stitch in London, then I am going to have a stall there selling my Flosstubes and my bookmarks. And you know, if I come up with any new products in the meantime, then I'll be bringing them with me. I'm going to bring as much stock as I can, but I'm travelling by train, but I'm coming with such a minimalist wardrobe that hopefully I can bring plenty of stock with me. So I'm excited about that. I wasn't going to have a stall, but then having the video call with Marie, she encouraged me, and I thought, why not? I'll push myself outside of my comfort zone, despite my anxiety and my imposter syndrome. And yeah, it's a great way for me to get, you know, my Flosstubes out there and getting more people knowing about them. And it's really hard again to photograph them very accurately. I do my best, but under natural light, but I think to see them in person, you see the intricacy of the paint and the print, and yeah, the metallic paint that I use doesn't show up particularly well on the camera. So yeah, that's really exciting. And just to let you know that I announced yesterday on my Instagram that I'm going to be having another Flosstube sale on my Instagram stories on Saturday the 20th of May at 9 PM, and that is for both UK and international customers. The last Flosstube sale I did sell to both California and Australia, and they arrived safely, and I think they took just over 2.5 weeks, I think. And you know, the postage was, I feel, very affordable. It was only about £1 or £2 more than me shipping to the UK, so I do include the postage cost within the price of the Flosstube. So yeah, I think one lady bought 2 Flosstubes off me, and including postage that was £25 to go to America. So yeah, I better go. My battery's flashing at me, so I'm getting low. It's been really lovely to come back and see you all. I hope I can edit this all together well. And until next time, take care of yourself, do plenty of stitching, and be kind to yourself. Lots of love. Bye. Oh, I forgot to mention this at the end. I do still have 3 small sets of Flosstubes here at home, so if anyone is interested in small sets of Flosstubes, then let me know. These are sets of 16. Oh, come on, play ball. I've just got these little bits of paper on there, so I know how many are in the set and what number they are, so they don't get mixed up when people buy them. So yeah, still got these ones. They're looking for a lovely home, so if you're interested, then just send me a message or comment below and I'll get back to you, or send me a message on Instagram. Great, I'm going now. Bye.